Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today because we're about to see cars go for half off, guys. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable with what's coming. So before I get into it, please take a second. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, we have an email list that has gone out. And if you guys are on the list, make sure you check your spam filter and sign up for that. The link is below. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But let's get right into it. During the Great Depression, there were major problems with car manufacturers. And one thing that people don't really want to realize is that in 1929, you had the car industry had just taken off. And think about this, 1928, there were 4 million cars sold. 1929, there was 5.3 million cars sold in the United States. Isn't that unbelievable when you think about that? The Ford Motor Company, at that time, they employed 139,000 people. That's a lot of people. And, after the Great Depression, when the crash hit in 1929 and the Great Depression started, the auto industry took a major hit. And one thing that we're seeing right now is we're seeing all these analysts step forward and talk about how serious this is for the car industry. Now, there's a lot to cover with this. And Patrick Hummel is an analyst at UBS. UBS is a global banking and analysis firm out of Switzerland. They used to be the Union Bank of Switzerland, now they're just known as UBS. But Patrick Hummel was talking about how the auto industry is in serious, serious trouble, and that the production of autos resembles the Great Depression, and that we had this buildup, and we had all these companies that are out making cars that may not survive during this time. I myself think that we're going to see major car companies go out of business during this time and, be bankrupt. But think about this. Ford employs 139,000 people in 1929. Which is staggering when you think about that. The crash hits in 1929, in October of 1929. Within a year, Ford, and the auto industry itself dropped 2 million sales. Okay, so it went from 5 million to 3 million the following year, and then by 1931 had dropped another 2 million, auto sales. So the industry went down, 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 down. Now Ford, the thing that was fascinating about Ford is at their peak, 139,000. After, the Depression, when it started, they only employed 27,000 people, which is still a lot of people when you think about that. Right now, GM is boasting that they have 50,000 to 8,000 employees right now. So when you think about how busy they were during the Great Depression, it's crazy to think about. Right now, you have in excess of 50 new EV car manufacturers that are trying to open right now. 50. That is nuts. So most of these are Chinese companies that want to come to the United States and sell globally, especially in the UK. For some reason, they really want to sell EV cars in the UK. What this is doing is creating a massive glut. And what UBS said is that what you're seeing car manufacturers that are going to have an excess amount of inventory of 5 million cars. 5 million cars over what can be sold. Now, simple supply and demand, guys. If you don't think that cars are going to drop in price, you're kidding yourself. And the problem that we have right now is that economically, people cannot afford these new vehicles. The prices are absolutely out of this world, and you're going to see more and more auto companies lower their price. Now, Tesla did it, and they're still making money, but Ford and GM have had to do it out of desperation, not out of, competing and lowering the price. They lose money on electric cars. Now, the one thing that I've talked about before is what's going to happen when these electric car companies go out of business completely? What are we going to do? How are you going to get parts for it? I want to remind you guys of something that is absolutely fascinating, and I want you to think about this, okay? Think about these car manufacturers that were major players listed on the New York Stock Exchange during 1929. See if you even remember these names. Peerless, Cunningham, Doble, Durant, DeVoe, Marmon, Franklin, Aubencourt Duesenberg, Pierce Arrow, and Stutz. Done. All of them are completely finished right now. And read the article below because it's fascinating, because it shows the year that the company finally went out of business. But, hey, let's get parts for our Stutz. You're done. You can't do it. That's what's going to happen right now. And you're going to see what we're heading into be completely catastrophic for these companies. And the problem with it is that people cannot afford a $50,000 car. They just can't. And people have to have transportation, and they have to get to and from work and get their kids to school and things like that. But this is absolutely going to be catastrophic for them. Talking to the different people that work with the auto auctions, the inventory is increasing dramatically. Where a year ago at this time, it was nuts. It was couldn't find cars. The car dealerships were paying money hand over fist for used vehicles. GM, Honda, all these different places were going to have secondary used sites to unload inventory to make money on the used cars. Not anymore, guys. They want to sell you the new car as quick as possible. So just a matter of time until we start to see more and more price reductions on the new vehicles. It's going to happen, okay? You're starting to see the incentives get increased. You're starting to see different things happen that are giving these cars away at much lower prices. But who's going to survive during this time? Rivian right now has to raise money just to stay in operation. They're not shy about that. They're talking about how if they don't have money, they're not going to be able to stay afloat to run the company. Who would buy a Rivian right now? Seriously. Who would go out there and say, I've got to have this car? You're crazy, because you run the risk that they're going to be out of business. Lucid, that car company, just announced that they are laying off 1,000 people right now. 1,000 people. Okay. Well, they must be really busy. Down from there. All these auto manufacturers have rolled the dice and gone to electric vehicles, and it's not paying off yet. And when you read the UBS articles and put all this together, it just points to the fact that there's going to be a glut of cars. And every time we've seen this, prices drop dramatically. And you're going to see, out of desperation, things move in such a way. So think about this, guys. Patience, okay? If you have to get a car today, you got to do what you got to do. And I understand that. People write me all the time about things like that. But if there's a way for you to save money and wait, just like buying a home right now, be patient right now. The same thing with cars, boats, motorcycles, everything. It is absolutely crazy. High-end cars, you're seeing them not move as fast. You're seeing the high-end car manufacturers that are not hurting like the other manufacturers are, and they anticipate that they'll be okay. But the high-end cars, you're seeing dramatic price reductions where you're seeing cars get dropped to $50,000. Now, when you're talking about a $400,000 vehicle for $350,000, that's dramatic, but that's what you're seeing. You're seeing things like that right now. We had so many people reach out at the end of last month talking about how, hey, end of the first quarter sale, we got to meet our numbers. Come in here, we'll make any deal. We'll sell things $5,000 under manufacturer's list. That's going to be the beginning of this. You're going to see things be given away over the course of the next 6 months. This year, you're going to start to see things drop dramatically. But when you look at, Patrick Hummel talking about how bad the industry is and what a glut things are, this is 1929 all over again. it's just a matter of time until something clicks off in the stock market and sends everything crashing. But you're going to see a lot of these manufacturers that make cars completely go out of business. It's going to happen. So you run the risk if you buy one of these new cars of not being able to get parts for it, batteries, things like that. Think about this. What happens? You know, it's one thing to have your motor worked on, okay? But with these electric vehicles, with what you're experiencing, man, I'm telling you, I think you guys are taking, you know, things into your own hands. Now, here's something fascinating. Remember the smart car, the little two-seater, you know, cars? Those things are being given away right now. And they have converted the entire line. It's only sold as an electric vehicle now. You cannot buy a smart car that's a combustible engine right now. It's electric only. Now, the, you know, cars that are gas powered, you know, they're cheap. They're like $5,000. Renault, the car maker, Fiat, okay, they have cars that you can get. I know somebody that went into the dealership and they're like, hey, you know, look at this car. It's electric. The mileage is horrible. 90 miles to a charge. 90 miles to a charge. But we'll give you a lease payment of $90 a month. $90 a month to drive a car that's new? Okay. You know, I couldn't do the drive I did today with that car. Think about that. But 90 miles, $90. What are you going to do? Okay? This is just a matter of time until this stuff is going to be absolutely given away and dropped to the absolute floor. So share your thoughts on this stuff right now, and let me know what you think, and let me know the deals that you're seeing out there. But do you think that these car manufacturers are going to go out of business? Because I do. I think we're going to see things that we have never seen before right now. I really, really do. So let me know. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. Let's face it, guys. The financial crisis of 2023 is here. And you need to take a look at different ways to protect your retirement. The best thing you can do is get yourself an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals. You should call Patriot Gold today at 888-330-1431 and get your free investor guide. They will answer all your questions and explain to you how a metals-backed IRA is the way to go. Now think about this. With what we're heading into, okay, Wells Fargo Bank has said that we're going to head into a commodity super cycle. Wall Street Journal said people need to not just sit there, they need to do something. Well, what you can do to protect yourself is look at a metals-backed IRA or 401k that has no fee from Patriot Gold. Call them today, 888-330-1431. Let them know that I allegedly sent you. But guys, protect yourself, protect your family. Call them today, get some free information. It's absolutely no obligation. I'm not only, you know, a spokesman for the company, but I am a client and I love Patriot Gold. Take a look at them today. Now, one thing you have to think about with the Great Depression is this, the similarities to today. During the Great Depression, there was no industry that, you know, went through that unscathed. No family, no country. Everybody was affected by this globally. And this is what's happening right now. Now, when you hear about banking losses and you hear about $1.7 trillion in unrealized banking losses right now, the banks are in huge trouble, guys. The banks are going to have another huge calamity that we haven't even begun to feel yet. But here's the thing, people keep taking their money out of the banks, okay? It's just a massive, massive problem. So when this finally catches up to the banks, you're going to see the banking system completely corrode and collapse and falter, okay? So next thing is Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon steps forward and says, hey, he can fix the world, employment end of it, this employment economy, by teaching people more skills, and by paying people more money. Okay, well, think about that. Trade schools right now are dropping off, and they shouldn't be. People should be going to trade schools. I have a brilliant friend of mine, financial prepper out of Louisiana, who has made a ton of money, okay, as a welder when he left high school. The guy, I can't afford college, my family doesn't have the money. What makes the most amount of money? Well, at first it was underwater welding. Okay, well, living in Louisiana, it wasn't going to do too much of that. So he learned welding as a craft and runs a very successful business, but owned like 18 houses. Okay, so you can make a lot of money with your hands. So that makes sense. But again, trade school, here they are pushing college. It's going to change your life. Go to an Ivy League school. It's going to cost $90,000 a year. You know, it is crazy. It is crazy to think about all these people that are in student loan debt that are not making enough money to go out and pay for college. Okay? I, for one, am one of those people that don't believe in that. I believe in, you know, experience and hard work and your ability to work. But, you know, majority of my experience with that is with salespeople that have, you know, been foot soldiers and done things like that. Okay? Marketing, finance, things like that. People that have started their own businesses and things like that. The next thing is paying people more money, which is great. It's great for Jamie Dimon to say that. Is he paying people more money at the bank? Who knows? All they talk about is how they're cutting back. General Motors just laid off all those people and gave them those incentives to go look for a job someplace else. There's a reason for this. And the reason for this is you'd rather take $1 billion hit now than pay $2 billion later. When does it end, guys? How does this end? Does it end that things get cleaned up, or does it just have a complete crash and burn? And that's what people don't really realize, is that the economy is going to get to a point that's going to be completely upside down. And the thing about this is I am having people write me from around the world, okay? Australia. Banks in Australia right now are limiting cash withdrawals, again, from the banks. And it's how it is. Okay? You know, you don't like it, don't bank here. Well, wait a second. I want to take my money out, but you want to be able to get more than a couple $100 at a time from the ATM. Things come up. What if you go on vacation? You got kids, you got grandkids, you got to experience life, and you need, we'll just go get cash later, okay? And you can get $200, okay? There's meals that cost more than that sometimes when you're traveling. Okay? Okay, we'll deal with it later. No, it's horrible, but people are sending me more things like this right now. So, you know, share your thoughts on this stuff right now. I really think that we haven't seen the beginning of this right now. This is just starting to fall apart. They're trying to convince us everything's okay, but it's not. It's not. And the huge problem is going to be the auto sector. All these people that are behind, more people right now have $1,000 car payments than ever before. And that's because of the expense of the cars. It's just that simple. And people get desperate, okay. And people are stupid and convince themselves, hey, this will be okay. I can afford this payment. I can afford this. And I am talking to different people that are successful, that are trying to buy, high-end cars, a couple of them. And they're seeing, these gull-wing Corvettes and things like that, $50,000 off price, okay? Crazy numbers that you're seeing discounted. Why? Why is that? Okay? So, share your thoughts on this stuff. I'm at Alamitos Bay right now, heading towards Naples. Just a beautiful spot out here. The sun is shining this morning. It's nice. Now remember, everything in the economy is fantastic. Everything's great, okay? Think about this. Bankruptcy filings in February. It's the latest month that we have statistics on. From the previous year, they were up 18% this year over last year. So you had over 31,000 people or groups or filings in February of 2023 that filed bankruptcy, and that was up 18%. Huge, okay? Commercial filings, they were up 18% also. But the staggering statistic, okay? People that want to try to refinance or people that want to try to consolidate their debt, Chapter 11 filings, commercial filings were up 83% year over year in February. 83% of companies that have too many debts, they're going to try to work things out with their creditors. There was an 83% increase in that. That's staggering, guys. But again, everything is great in the economy. Everything is great, financially. People are spending money. They're not. Here's the thing to think about. Okay, and I talk to friends, family, clients, everybody about this. If you know that things are taking a downturn, it's to your advantage. The only thing that you have to look at, just like these auto manufacturers, is how you're going to trim your costs, how you're going to save money during this time to get through this and still sell. Now, if nobody's buying anything, the company's done. If you have too many bills and you're not selling enough, you'll end up, with one of these bankruptcy filings like everybody else. What you have to do is look at how you can make money, selling less. And if you can do that, look at what's working for you. Think about this. People don't pay attention to their existing client base. If you go to your existing clients, at least 20% of your business should come from those existing clients. Repeat business, referrals, things like that. Your company can survive on that if you do this. So people need to pay attention to that. And if you do that, economically you guys can be fine, but people don't want to sit back and decide what works for the company. They just want to, keep throwing advertising money. That's not working. And that's a huge problem. Another thing is you're starting to see more scams out there for cars. It's a man in Fresno that went out to a car dealership and, one of the smaller dealerships, and bought a $15,000 car and drove the car away. Only problem was Fresno car transaction. The car was stolen from Huntington Beach, California. So, the guy gets pulled over. The guy almost got arrested having the car, and they seize the car. And now the dealership, may have known that the car was stolen. So read the story. It's kind of fascinating. But if you guys buy a car from anybody, get a Carfax. Call, if you think it's sketchy, it is sketchy. If you think they're, hey, we're going to do this with the paperwork, call someone and see if it's okay. Okay? Because you're the one driving the car, and this guy's out $15,000 as a result of this. So has anybody ever bought anything that was stolen like that? Anybody ever purchased anything and you find out after it was all said and done that, car wasn't able to be sold, boat, motorcycle, whatever, okay? You're seeing more and more of this right now. Isn't this beautiful? All these houses go through, the waterways and things like that. So, share your thoughts on this stuff. Let me know if you've experienced that, but you're gonna see more scams right now. And once again, people keep sending me, the Netflix thing seems to be really popular right now, where they get a text in the middle of the night from Netflix saying, hey, you've been locked out of your account. What? Let me check it. You start putting in your personal information. They've got your password. They've got your personal information. They've got access to your phone. Don't click on things like that. Just stay away from stuff like that. And, and again, if your bank sends you a text and you're not sure about it, call the bank. Next time you're online with the bank, hey, if there's ever a fraud alert or anything like that, who do I call to see if it's real? They have numbers for that, and they will help you. It doesn't matter what bank you deal with, but that's what you have. More people are sending me credit unions. They're logging into their banks and their credit unions right now. Hey, before you can see your account balance, you got to agree to our new terms of service. Okay? Not you have a choice. I don't accept this. Okay, we're not going to see your balance. So I'm telling you this right now. There's going to be some lawyer who's going to sue these people for this because you don't have a choice. Okay, how much money do I have in the account? Well, we'll let you know in a minute. Just click right here. Agree to these 48-page terms. That's what the latest one was from the world's largest credit union. So it gets ridiculous, guys. It gets to a point that you have to say no to this stuff. So let me know what you think. And have you experienced this? But again, paper statements on credit cards. Oh, that's terrible, Dan. No, it's not. Because I'm telling you, they will send you letters out. And if you get a letter from your credit card company, you have a tendency to open that. But you get an email from them and whatever. Okay? And how many emails do you have? Okay? Share your thoughts, guys. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. There's a great article out of Freightways magazine talking about how the shipping industry has taken a hit for 1 year now. And they wrote an article a year ago talking about how there was a recession in shipping and that people need to understand that. And here we are a year later, and it's gotten worse. And when you read the article below, you'll sit there and go, oh, wow. Okay, we've talked a lot about Freightways and the shipping industry, but look at UPS, look at FedEx, how they are just cutting back completely, okay? People are not paying to get things from here to there right now because there's no commerce, there's no business right now. I was in a FedEx office this week. The person won the Masters tickets, and we had to send those out this week. And I was talking to them, and hey, tell me, is printing down? You know, are orders down? Oh yeah, Dan, off. You know, we're seeing a real downturn is the real estate agents that were in here all the time printing colored flyers for the new properties. It's non-existent right now. Huh, isn't that interesting, guys? So they're not listing the houses. They're not showing that, but the printer is like dead. And I said, well, you know, gosh, it's too bad. He goes, yeah, we have all these incentives right now. We got different coupons people can get. And again, if you buy anything, ask for a deal right now, okay? Ask for a deal. But think about it. Shipping's slow, people are slow, it's that simple. Yale University did a study on does hard work pay, and people don't want to do hard work anymore. In other words, manual labor. People don't want to work hard because it doesn't pay as much as it used to pay. So we'd rather work smart, okay? Or not work at all. That's what you're seeing with people right now. So people are fed up. People are done. People don't want to work for less right now. So kind of fascinating. Final story. I found this fascinating. I wanted to share it with you because I had a great story to tell you. And that was a man on Business Insider talked about how he lied on his resume to get a better job, and everybody should do that. Don't lie about your degrees, just lie about your work experience, and look, you'll get a better job. Which I was like, well, what happens if they catch you? Then they're going to fire you for this. Don't worry about it. Just lie, tell them what they want to hear. Which brings up a friend of mine. She wanted to get a job at a law firm. And phone interview, and they go, hey, they want to meet me, but I have to be, you know, a master at Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I don't even know what those are. I'll come by the house. So we got talking, and literally I showed her in 5 minutes how to open up Excel, how to do this, how to open up Word, open up a new document, and PowerPoint, what PowerPoint was, and how to do it. Literally, we spent 15 minutes on this. And during her interview, the normal person that was supposed to interview her wasn't there. And she opens up the Excel program and opens it, you know, start a spreadsheet, do this, do that. And she does it, and she opens up one page. She goes, are you really going to make me do this? Seriously? You know I'm qualified. You really going to, you know, we're going to do this? The woman says, yeah, you're right. What a waste of time. Okay? Let me talk to the partners, and we'll make you the offer. Okay? She got the job, okay? And, you know, was a paralegal, did all this stuff for them, and had an assistant that did all that stuff for her. So she didn't need to know any of it, but totally snowed them, and it was kind of funny. So, and she still laughs about that with me every now and then. But again, don't lie about your you know, college experience. But have you guys ever done it? Have you ever, you know, done shenanigans to get a job? So share your thoughts. I always love these responses you guys send me. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check your email list, check your email because we sent out an email, and you want to make sure you're not in the spam folder. And onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.